I would prefer Donald Trump over Kamala Harris because Kamala's a Lori McBride cuck. But Tulsi Gabbard is better than Trump. Kamala Harris appears to be a sociopath. If Kamala runs against Trump, the Dems lose. Americans will vote for a narcissist Trump over a sociopath Kamala. Dems, if you want to win against Trump, you need to nominate Tulsi Gabbard. As long as Tulsi's on the ticket, she gets my vote. Of course, I may be able to write her in, and I'll do that if I have to. If Tulsi gets the Dem nomination, she'll be elected by a wide margin against Trump, and she'll win. Because I predict about 25% of the Republicans who voted for Trump in 2016 will defect to Tulsi in 2020. The key is to get her into the debates. She won me over as a Republican when I heard her speak. She's the only Democratic candidate who can defeat Trump. She seems so courageous and genuine, and I believe will really hold her line against the deep state. She won't cave in like Trump has. Most evangelicals will probably stick with Trump, but Trump got a lot of support from centrists like myself. And centrists usually don't like unnecessary wars, and they will defect to Tulsi if she runs against Trump as the Dem candidate. You might say, how can you as a Christian support Trump over Tulsi when Trump seems friendlier to evangelicals? Well, I see through Trump's narcissist charade. It's actually pro-Bible to treat others fairly. And when Trump interferes in the elections and affairs of other countries to listen to Bolton, a deep state hawk, he's being unjust and unfair. Unfortunately, most Christians, with perhaps the exception of the missionaries, can't see what the deep state's policies are really doing to these countries. The news is lying about what's really happening in these countries. You might say, how do you know the news is lying about what Trump's policies are doing to these countries? Because Vladimir Putin's on my marriage list, and I have a personal relationship with him. I know the West is full of nonsense about him. I can't believe the insanity we have in the West about Putin. Putin's a good man. Tulsi has stated that she feels Putin is the enemy of the U.S., but says that shouldn't stop us from trying to engage with him rather than attacking the Russians. I personally think she's wise to say Putin's our enemy, mainly to get the press off her back, and that when she gets into office, it will make it harder for her enemies to try to cage her into betraying Russia to save her political neck like what Trump's doing right now. After she has some meetings with Putin, she can modify her opinion of him if she wants. At least she'll meet with him. I believe she really will. And in a sense, Putin is the enemy of the American deep state. So if she means it in that way, secretly she's right. Putin's not the enemy of Americans who support me, though. I won't be impressed with Trump until he makes a public statement that he has removed sanctions from Russia and countries like Venezuela, which is really hurting them. I also want to see him apologize for bombing Syria. Until he does that, I'm not impressed. Regarding Tulsi's views on gun control and Planned Parenthood, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I don't think she's going to send squads to take guns away from people. She'd probably go more in the direction of legislation. Even so, I'm not a gun owner, so this doesn't affect me that much. I don't believe in taking guns from the citizens. As the Empress, we can arm the citizenry with citizen scanners to help them defend themselves. We could use space-age guns instead of guns and bullets. What I like about Tulsi is that she's not married to party ideology, and she has an open heart, which means after she gets into office, she's likely to be reasonable and willing to discuss differences with her opponents, rather than just engage in name-calling, slander, and attacks. Unlike Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, and Donald Trump, Tulsi says what she means and means what she says. If she changes her mind or policies, like her stance on gay marriage, she'll offer an apology if needed, and she's willing to learn. There will be no back party deals where what she says and what she does don't align. She won't make sneaky, dirty, and underhanded attacks on nations or people just to promote her political career like Trump and the rest of the politicians do. I like her because she's not a politician. I may not agree with all her positions, but she's consistent and true to her ideals and doesn't play games with you. She has a centrist heart and will win over the centrists in all parties. There are a lot of centrists out there. America is sick of politicians. We want the real deal. Those who voted for Trump, thinking he was an anti-establishment, real deal guy, are sorely disappointed in him right now. It appears that Tulsi is all that Trump ran on as an anti-establishment politician, but that Trump sadly is not. Trump has a bunch of deep state war hawks as his closest advisors right now. Bolton is a disaster. Tulsi is the real deal, not a politician. We voted for Trump thinking he would be anti-establishment. He's brilliant with words and, like a narcissist, knows what his audience wants to hear. But his actions reveal him to be a narcissist. Some Democrats think Trump is stupid. I actually think he's a genius. That's how he was able to win the election. He can read and manipulate people well. Narcissists are good at this. The problem is he's a narcissist. He's more concerned about winning than moral values and principles. It's his narcissism I object to. He puts on airs that he cares about moral values and caters to the evangelicals to help with this false image. But to treat other nations unfairly, to score political points, and I think he knows he's doing this, reveals him to be a narcissist, more concerned about winning than morals or being a true Jesus follower. Unfortunately, because many evangelicals can't see that Trump's manipulating them like the genius narcissist he is, it's making the evangelicals appear very hypocritical to the unbelievers out there who easily see through Trump's narcissist charade. We evangelicals are living in our bubble right now and fail to see that our support for a narcissist makes us appear gullible, stupid, and hypocritical for standing by Trump when his narcissism is in plain view to those not influenced by their biased religious views. It does not hurt Trump's political career to take a stand against abortion, gun control, etc. But you won't catch him taking any stands that could cost him the election like Tulsi's doing. You might say, but anybody would cave in under all the lies and slander he's gotten. Not true. Not a person who has genuine convictions like I believe Tulsi Gabbard has. The problem with the way Trump operates is that it can win him an election, but it won't win him a second term if his opponent has all the genuineness and authenticity that he ran on and that we now realize he does not have. Now, if his opponent is another narcissist or even worse, a sociopath like Hillary Clinton or Kamala Harris, Trump will get his second term. The opponent needs to be a real contrast to Trump and have all the genuineness that we thought Trump had when we voted for him. As long as Tulsi contrasts with Trump as the more genuine, real deal candidate, she will beat Trump in a landslide because she'll be all that we voted for in Trump in 2016 and that we sadly learned he is not. Trump is kissing the butt of the Republican deep state right now. We are sick of politicians. If not for Tulsi, I wouldn't even be voting in 2020. I will vote for a genuine, real deal person over a politician, even if we don't agree in all areas. That's why I've switched to the Democratic Party. My views are a blend between the Democrat and Republican Party, so I can easily jump from one party to another depending on which party has a genuine, real deal candidate. And I just want to emphasize, folks, you might say, what about the other ones like Bernie Sanders? You know, Bernie Sanders seems like a cuck to me. I'm not impressed with the way he caved into Clinton when Clinton stole the election to him. He doesn't have the courage that Tulsi Gabbard has. I don't think Bernie will follow through on his promises. He's going to be probably a weaker version of Trump. Joe Biden, I think he's going to end up being a cuck to the establishment too. The only candidate that I feel good about right now is Tulsi Gabbard. And she could go wrong too. Let me tell you how she could go wrong. She could go wrong if she gets replaced, if they kill her like they did the real Barack Obama in 2012, and she gets replaced with a clone. And if that, but what I suggest you do, men, is right now have Tulsi live on Church of Gale's spaceship and start protecting her, because Lori McBride is going to find her a real threat. And so will Trump. And I don't trust Trump, because Trump's a narcissist and he doesn't really have morals. Narcissists don't. So he's going to do what's best for number one. And he could end up betraying us big time when he feels threatened. I think he feels pretty confident that he's going to win 2020. He knows what to say. The problem is the Democratic candidate needs to be a real contrast to him, and let's come across very genuine and authentic, because that's where Trump's weak spot is. He's a fake, and a lot of people are starting to see that. They're noticing a big difference between what he says and what he does. Like Ann Coulter's noticed it. Other candidates that I would like are Jill Stein and Ron Paul, but they're not running. So I'm really impressed with Tulsi Gabbard. Dems, Tulsi Gabbard needs to be the Democratic candidate. I predict that if it's anybody else, Trump is going to win. In the meanwhile, I will be praying, and I will just ask for God's will in the matter. Okay? But Dems, the problem is she's up against the establishment, and the establishment does not like Tulsi. There's a deep state in the Democratic Party as well as the Republican Party. In order to overcome that, she's going to need to win by a wide margin. So I'm going to have a link underneath this video. She needs your financial support. She needs about 100,000 people giving her financial support. I just donated $1 because that's about all I can afford, just to add another number on there. But I'm going to have a link for her underneath this video. If she has 100,000 candidates or more, then she's going to be able to take part in the Democratic debates in June. And I predict once that woman gets on the debate stage, she's going to take off. And Lori McBride and the deep state, they're not going to be able to stop her. This woman comes across so genuine, so real. She's not only going to win the progressives in the Democratic Party, which would be like the Bernie Sanders supporters, she's going to win over some Republicans. I really believe she will do great. She's the best Democratic candidate to face off with Trump in the general election. Her biggest obstacle is getting the Democratic nomination. They're going to try to rig it against her. Dems, if you want a sure win against Trump, you need to put in Tulsi Gabbard. I think she's the only Democratic candidate that can beat him. And I think Trump knows that too. I think he's starting to get nervous that I'm making these videos. And when a narcissist gets nervous, watch out. He might even start lining up with Lori McBride. So please, she needs our support. Please help. I'm going to have a link underneath this video. Donate to her campaign. If she gets 100,000 people that donate to her, she will probably be a shoo-in for the debates. I predict they're going to try to keep her out of the debates because they know that when she's not getting much press. They know that when she has a presence, she makes a very good impression. And what she's going to end up doing is the independents, the Green Party people, the Libertarians, and the moderate or centrist Republicans are going to be impressed with her, and she's going to be taking a lot of the people in 2016 who voted for Trump and bringing them into the Democratic Party to vote for her, and that's how she's going to win.